Well, I need to switch that back to this and then make it borderless because I screwed up my screen. There we go. Turn the brightness up a little bit. Triple buffer. 60. Fine, we'll restart it. Okay, so with that being said, there we go. There we go. Type A. A is confirmed. That's what I needed. That.
In the name of the Father, and in the presence of these holy relics, I hereby pronounce you man and wife from this time forth. May the blessings of the gods light your path for all eternity. Far on.
Launch an attack by both land and air, our kingdom will stand little.
Nabudis has fallen.
Impossible!
My father? I know not. I am sorry.
If Nabudis has indeed fallen, it is only a matter of time before they reach the borders of Dalmasca. There is nothing to halt their advance.
Secure Nalbano with all haste.
I will go.
And I will go at his side.
Galtea, stand watch over your life.
That I be considered worthy.
Fortress is lost! We must withdraw!
No! The paling still stands!
Shield beyond sight, their failing light.
The paling's fallen!
Then it's over!
For my father. For my father!
Lord Rasler!
Blessings of the Great Father descend, and guide your bodies return to the earth. Great Father, guide your spirits return to the Mother of all. There you shall find peace. Pharaoh.
The death of Lord Rasla Heos Nabradia was but one of many tragedies to befall the Kingdom of Dalmasca. The air of hope that had surrounded Her Royal Highness Princess Asha's wedding was now quite lost. Dalmasca had been set adrift at the mercy of history's restless tides. At this time, two great empires struggled for dominion over Ivalice: Arcadia in the east, Rosaria the west. The invasion of the Kingdom of Nabradia was Arcadia's first step in its westward march. With Lord Rasla's beloved homeland consumed by the hellfires of war, it seemed clear that Arcadia would soon mete out a like fate to Dalmasca. The fall of the fortress at Nalbina told the destruction of the greater part of Dalmasca's forces. a counterattack was mounted by the order of the Knights of Dalmasca, ever brave and faithful. But against the martial might of the Arcadian armies, they stood little chance of victory. Indeed, their defeat was to be absolute. Soon thereafter, Arcadia came forward, offering terms of peace, or, as one might rather put it, terms of Dalmasca's surrender. Lord Romanos, King of Dalmasca, and my dear friend, had no choice but to accept these terms. It was, thus, only with reluctance that he set out for Nalbina Fortress, now under Arcadian occupation, to affix his seal to the Emperor's Treaty of Peace. The king had scarce departed his royal city of Rabanasta when the remnants of the Order made their return, and not a moment too soon, for a terrible revelation awaited them. The treaty would be signed with steel and writ in royal blood.
You there? Can you hear me?
It's as I feared. They're slowing us down.
Do not say that. Not all of us are here for love of battle. He fights to defend his homeland. Your name?
Rex, sir. My name's Rex.
Good. Rex. You bore a few cuts, but you are still whole. Well, can you stand? Think you can fight?
I'm fine, sir.
How old are you, Rex?
17, sir.
Young. Family?
My brother is all I have left, sir. He's 2 years younger than I, living in Rabanastre.
So young. You're barely old enough to be a man. You shouldn't be forced to wield a sword.
No, sir. I want to fight. For my homeland. And for my parents.
It's time, Bosch. Save the discussion for later. We must reach the king before they act, or all our efforts will be in vain.
I'm aware of the situation.
We found them! Over there!
Bossel, go ahead. I will handle this rabble.
Godspeed.
Steady, Rex. Keep your wits about you and you'll make it. We move!
All right, we actually get to play now. The first starting storyline of Final Fantasy XII. I don't need to know all this. I already know it.
Captain?
My engines are hit. She'll not hold much longer.
We receive you, Tomberry. You've leave to retire. Well fought.
My thanks, Antlion. Tonberry disengaging.
Vossler! Where are you?
What if Captain Oculus has fallen?
Don't talk such nonsense. Vossler's laughed in the face of death far too many times for him to stop now. Men like him don't die in places like this. We must make haste to reach the king. We will take him to safety.
Is His Majesty unharmed?
He'll agree to an unconditional surrender. They wouldn't dare touch him until the wax on his seal is dry.
But if we arrive after he signed the treaty...
Wait. Quickly, Rex.
Ooh. There's a lot of save files to this. I'll leave both of those just because that was an old save that I thought was really good. Hadn't played that save in a while though. Probably should delete it.
Intruders! Don't let them escape!
Sir, we have little time. You must go to the king. I'll handle these.
Fight well.
Person detected at bedroom camera. Person detected at office camera. Person detected at office camera.
Your Majesty. Captain, why? Our king, what have you done?
The king intended all along to sell Dalmasca to the Empire. His Majesty was a traitor.
Captain,
Seize the insurgent. Along!
Well, so much for peaceful negotiations.
We'll never surrender to you. We are not cattle to be sold by a traitor king.
But the war is over, my dear captain. You have lost. Dalmasca is the property of the Empire now. And to think, we intended to let you keep some of your sovereignty, out of respect. But now you've gone and ruined that. Haven't you, Captain?
We will never bow to you.
And the people of Dalmasca will hate you for it. Take the captain away.
Off you go.
Vaughn.
Pretenses of peace left by the wayside, the Arcadian forces resumed their advance toward Rabanasta. Dalmasca's doom had been decided. To make resistance would serve no end. With this foremost in my thoughts, I to the people of Dalmasca. Sons and daughters of Dalmasca, I bid you lay down your arms. Raise songs of prayer in their stead. Prayer for His Majesty King Raminas, ever merciful, a man devoted wholly to peace. Prayer, too, for the noble Princess Ash, who, wrought with grief at her kingdom's defeat, has taken her own life. Know also that Captain Bosch von Ronsenberg, for incitement of sedition and the assassination of His Royal Majesty King Raminas, has been found guilty of high treason and put to his death. They who at this late hour choose still the sword are cut of the same cloth as the captain. Traitors who would lead Dalmasca to her ruin. Dalmasca's surrender without terms was soon to follow.
Hurry it up or they'll find us.
I know. Just a little more. You keep an eye out for me up there, Kites. 1, 2, 3 more. All right. Time to clean house. Yeah.
Wow, Vaughn, you got him all yourself? Guess I know who to call when something big comes along.
Hey, it's good practice for the desert. I'm ready for anything now. That's enough for today. You should get back to Miguel's place, Kites. Aren't you running errands for him?
Oops, totally forgot. You should come, Vaughn. He's busy today. Might have some work for you to do, too.
I've got other, work to do. Hey, lock this place up for me, will you? If Miguel finds out we've been down here, he'll tan our hides.
What'd you say? Sir, you haven't paid, and I... What? Haven't paid? Second thought. Please, sir, take it. It's a gift.
Leave the poor sod be. We don't want trouble today.
Your luck, peddler.
Oops, sorry.
Watch where you're going, churl.
My pouch! It's gone!
The boy! Get out the way! Oh!
What? Hey, that's mine.
What do you mean, yours? You've been stealing again. What happens if they catch you? We need you to be there for us, Vaughn. You're no good to anyone if you're locked away in a dungeon.
Oh, what? Am I the leader now? We're orphans. The first thing you learn is you gotta watch out for yourself. Come on, Pinello. You know it as well as I do. Hey, you give that back. What do you think you're doing?
I thought that this money was the people of Dalmasca's property. The Imperials stole it from us, so it's only fair that we take it back. It's our duty as Dalmascans. Well, wasn't that what you said?
Yeah, but I never said anything about taking it back from me.
This is for that bread you took the other day. Just because I help Miguelo out every now and then, it doesn't mean that you get to eat for free too, you know.
I know that. You think I like living like this? One of these days, I'll fly an airship of my own. I'll be a sky pirate, free to go where I will.
Well, be careful. You'll never fly anything if you're rotting in a dungeon. Oh, Miguelo had some errands that need doing. He wanted you to drop by his place. It might be a good idea to lend a hand.
All I really know is that I'm trying to get Hank to come to the church, but I kind of need you or Shannon or somebody to that has a military background, maybe not combat experience, but once you're all in a branch of the military, you all can kind of sort of connect, Whether you've seen combat or not, you just have that military background, so. Well, he sounds like that would be a great idea. I was the one that actually thought of it and mentioned it to him because he, like I said in that text message, he felt like just going into Walmart was giving him a panic attack. So I needed to find a way to talk to, I guess, either you, since you were in the Navy, or Shannon, or Jeremy, or Randall, or whoever else. I only know of Randall, Jeremy, and whatever the other one I just said. Well, all I know is I need somebody that'd be willing, either all of you or just a couple of you, to come out and talk to him. More than one would be preferable, just for the sake of not just having one side version. So I don't like asking for help. That's my problem. And yes, I admit it's a bit of a pride issue with me because there's a saying in the Final Fantasy X game, Ronsos deal with Ronso problems. Well, Curtis deals with Curtis problems, and it's hard for me to ask. In my opinion, if it's a personal matter, it should be dealt with yourself, and you shouldn't have to get others involved to help fix it. But Daniel has made it clear that sometimes asking for help is necessary, but it's hard for me to do. Right. Well, Daniel was thinking he might come too, and we plan it for next Saturday. Hank said he would like to watch the Mercy Me video again. The what is it called? The singer of Mercy Me that made that video. Yeah, the video about his life and his dad and whatnot. Yeah, he wants to see. He's only seen that once again. I've only seen that once before too. He wants to see it again. I'm fine with watching again. Just be warned. The first time I saw it, I bawled almost through the entire thing. Now I cry during Hallmark movies, but that one that laid me out. It was heartwarming. So Daniel had thought of the idea of just ordering pizza and whatnot and hanging out and watching the movie or watching a movie. And then I talked to Hank about it, and he was like, "Yeah, that would be a great idea." And then he requested that particular movie. So I actually showed him we watched a part of a church service. We didn't watch the whole thing because he had other things to do. But we watched some of the lesson, and I chose a particular video that was back in August, one that I really liked, that Janice had done. He was the one that literally said, "Who's that girl?" I mean, I can hear her. Like, she's singing on tune, on note, and everything. And I said, "That's Jaden. And she's a really good singer. At least I think so." And the fact that he didn't know who she was, and he was able to pinpoint and single her out like that was just impressive by itself. So, and he really liked the music because of her in particular. So, but the reason why I chose that particular video or that particular sermon was because of what Janice said for the sermon. We didn't watch the whole thing, but he really did like what was said for the part that he did hear. No, Hank is not the guy that works in the apartments. That's his neighbor. Hank, I don't know how to really describe him. He kind of works on projects for other people. And then he also does a lot of other things as well. He doesn't trust banks, so he has like all his money in a very particular way. So he doesn't really trust the bank. He doesn't trust PayPal. He's just had a lot of problems with institutions in that manner. So there's a lot of, how do I want to put this? There's a lot of anxiety about many different things, and the big thing is getting him out into a big crowd like a church building without him getting a panic attack. Right. And about the thing I said earlier, you know, I'll be fine. It's just like, it's my own stupid head because of my past that gets in the way. And I go into fight or flight mode before thinking. And it was about something that happened. Somebody had made their presence known that they liked me by doing an old playbook move that girls do when they like somebody, trying to make a statement or make them jealous, and I went into fight or flight mode. So I got mad. That's all I'm willing to say. I got mad. I complained to Daniel about it, but because he kind of knows the situation. But the point of it is I already feel bad about what happened between the two of us in the past since I've been at the church, and now I feel even worse because it was made known, and now I went into fight or flight mode because I let my past get in the way. The whole thing with Tiffany was not a good experience, you know this. Mark and one other friend, even though I didn't talk to you a whole lot, or didn't talk to the family a whole lot, I did talk to Mark. You remember Mark McGivney, don't you? Guy I know, my best friend from 2nd grade. Without him and my other friend Danny Craig, I don't think I could have ever got out of those dark places back then. I talked to those two probably on a daily basis because it was bad. I know you know it was bad, Carl, but you will never know exactly how bad, and it's not something I want to relive. But because the girl played that particular move, and it's a mind game of sorts, and my ex played mind games, it threw me into fight or flight mode. And now I feel worse than I did before, so, you know. Because I shared, I was being honest, and I shared a message to Daniel and a couple other people about my staff, Piper. About, you know, how there are certain signs that she shows interest. And I was being honest. I wasn't trying to play a mind game or anything. But apparently it got back to her, and that was the result. And my fight or flight mode kicked in. Yes, she was working this week, and she may work next week too, so. Yes. Well, apparently there's some transitionings going on right now, so. So no, that was not the case. So the problem with Avant was I didn't realize they were being flexible whenever Ebony was very much very consistent on not actually hanging out with staff after hours, and whatnot. But after talking with Piper fixed it and cleared it up for me. And Piper thinks Ebony was just trying to protect Piper because technically Piper and Ebony are related in some way. I can't remember what that way is, but apparently they're related. So Piper thinks that Ebony was just trying to protect Piper when it wasn't even about Piper to begin with, because I was trying to prepare for the future if I ever get a staff that, you know, you remember Philip back in West Plains, right? Hello? Carl? Hello?
Vaughn, I was waiting.
Pinello said you needed something?
Had me some packages supposed to be arriving by courier in the morning. Perhaps he ran into some trouble out in the desert. Now I've no foodstuffs to prepare for the banquet tonight.
So you want me to find this courier? Hey, no problem.
No problem. The desert team's in trouble. I'd be sending you to an early grave, my boy. No, I've arranged for some replacement goods from Tomage over at the Sandsea.
So you want me to go to the tavern to pick him up?
Actually, I asked Kites to do that. Wouldn't you know he's gone missing on me, too? I can't leave my shop, and I've Pinello on another chore at the moment, you see. What I want you to do is run over to the Sandsea and fetch Kites back. What do you say?
Sounds wild.
It's easy work, and you'll thank me for it someday.
If I could sleep, that would be great. 20 years and I haven't had a dream. And just in the last 2 weeks I had one dream. And it wasn't exactly appropriate. Haven't had a dream since. Hey, there you go, R. What part did you hear last? Did you hear about me asking you about Philip? Okay. Right. So Philip asked. Yeah. So Philip actually he actually asked me to go to if I wanted to go to a game night. Remember, I was going to that game night with him. So I was trying to prepare for the future, and so
There
because
you are,
of
Kite.
I was thinking in those
Stop
terms,
loafing around.
and
Look,
Ebony was
Vaughn, look.
thinking that it
This
was
is
about
it.
Piper. when
This
it
is
wasn't
why
about
Miguelo's
Piper.
courier
And
didn't
so
get
there was
here
a
on time.
miscommunication there, and Piper got it.
Creature
Maybe
spotted in the
because
Esther Sand.
Ebony was
What is that
protecting
thing?
Her, not necessarily thinking in the way I was.
Vaughn. Miguelo
But
sent
then,
you too, did
then
he?
Piper, then
He's a
Piper
busy man
told
these
me
days, that
a
Miguelo, if I dare say
story
so myself.
about how
I don't envy him the work,
staff
though.
moved
Not
across
a
the hall
bit.
from a client.
Quite the affair throwing a banquet to welcome the Imperials, huh?
And then
Welcoming?
the caseworker
We should
complained
be-
about it.
Whatever.
And they told the caseworker
Say
there's
Tomage.
nothing that
What's this?
they could do.
Don't remind
It's
me.
their off time if they want to do
Got some
something. on their
nastiness
off time,
out there in
they
the
can.
Esther Sand. What's stopping our
And
couriers?
of course, Piper didn't
and that
say
means
names
shortages
because of HIPAA
all
regulations,
around.
you know.
Thought I'd put up a bill, offer a reward to anyone who can knock that nasty back in its place.
So that made me actually feel better because that
Sounds
means
10
that
times
they
better
do
than running
actually
errands for
allow that
Miguelo.
flexibility.
That's right.
It's just
Vaughn, you should give it a
just
shot.
that
And you should be
because
getting
I
back to
was
Miguelo.
asking and I'm thinking
Now,
because
Kite.
Piper was working.
He was waiting for you.
Oh, right,
Ebony was in
right.
protective mode. Well, I'm sure there is, but you know, it's to me business. It's business and business. Besides, it's a conflict of interest because she's not religious. So. She doesn't go to church, and she's not one that believes in God. We may have a lot in common, we may get along great, and we may have some good talks, but she's not religious, so it's a conflict of interest. Because for anything more than friendship, it would just cause conflict in the relationship because our religious views don't match. So policy or not, even if there wasn't a policy in place, which I'm sure there is, I still wouldn't pursue it just for the simple fact that it's a conflict of interest. So no, there's nothing to worry about because Piper explained it to me and told me a story of how they that the policy is there, yes, for and whatnot, but there's nothing. I mean, if staff and client want to hang out after hours, there's nothing they can do about it. I mean, that's what Piper was saying. So. Yeah, it's taken care of. No, I just know I require more flexibility, more understanding, and a whole lot of patience. And if that doesn't happen, it really causes a lot of conflict and stress. Because okay. To summarize your question, because I know what you're fixing to ask, it all goes to one thing: improving my future to be able to best make my future runs more smoothly. So because I thought they weren't being flexible enough when they actually are, that's why the message was sent. Absolutely not. No. Well, I wasn't upset or angry or anything. I just said in that. I said, let's think about it. I said, let's think about it. I wasn't entirely sure yet when I sent that email. If you go back and read that email, it'll tell you. I wasn't completely sure yet if I wanted to or not. But I wanted you to think about it. Right. But Piper saw I was upset about something and asked what was wrong. And I told her, and it was cleared up after I sent that email, so. Oh, I'm sure. Well, again, because Piper was working and not my other staff, Kimberly, it was a lot more stricter statements. I'm pretty sure if Kimberly was working, the entire situation probably would have been different. I think the only reason why it was so strict was because Piper was working that day, and Piper's related to Ebony. No. I'm not hanging out with anybody. I was just planning for the future because that's what the staffing company at West Plains did. Of course, they seem to be more vocal about allowing it and understanding that this one seems to allow it under the radar, but don't like openly talk about it. I honestly don't know. Right now that things are Kimberly is moving to a different department, and I don't know if she's still going to be working with me or not. And it sounded like Ebony was bringing somebody in with Piper to help train somebody new. So I don't know if that somebody new is going to be working with me, or if Piper's staying with me after this training. I don't really know. Everything's kind of just Piper is here to fill in because Kimberly has moved over to a different department at the moment, and there was supposed to be somebody else trained, but I don't know what that means. Ebony really doesn't tell me a whole lot. Right, they are. The only issue I had is I thought they weren't flexible, like my staffing companies in West Plains. When they actually are, they're just not as vocal about it that they are. That was really the only conflict. Yeah, that was the only conflict. No problem. Right. Right. Yep. Nope, just beating myself up, that's all. Not yet, but I expect it's going to be enormous. So. No, I'm not. I like the light more than I like the darkness. And if I shut the blinds, I have to turn on the lights, which uses electricity, so you know. True. I think I'm losing more heat out of the door frame than I am anything else. Just saying. It can get pretty darn cold at times. Like during the really cold, like -10 and below, it was cold out there. You would, compared to my apartment, you would step out there and it would just be freezing. I mean, obviously not as cold as outside because it's an indoor hallway, but it was still pretty darn cold. Yeah, just pray that I keep moving forward little by little. As Daniel has put it out, even little bitty improvements are still progress. But I still apparently have a big problem with very sensitive things like mind games. So. And I'm probably sure if she knew about that and we were talking, it'd be different. But you know, I got to show some grace and understanding because we haven't talked. But it's still hard, you know, because that's kind of what my ex did. It put me into a fight or flight mode. And I already felt bad, and now I just feel worse. So. Yeah, but that's all that can really be done is pray for progress. Honestly, before I moved to Columbia, if this situation occurred, I probably would have disowned her just like I disowned everyone else after what happened with my ex. And the fact that I'm still open for talking is progress in itself, which is not my normal way of thinking. So I am trying to be better, just going slowly. Trying is that for sure, but you know, you may respect it, Danielle may respect it, but I feel like it's not enough, because I feel like no matter how much I keep working at it and keep improving, in the eyes of the leaders of the church, it's just still not enough. It's like every time I talk to Davion or Janice about something, they seem to be a little harsher about it than you or Daniel, because I talk to you both quite a bit, and I don't talk to them a lot, so they don't know everything that's going on, and so they're a little bit harsher about it by saying like, well, you need to improve faster, or you need to do this better, or something like that, without knowing the situation. And it's like, I feel like the leaders themselves aren't willing to get themselves ingrained as much. And I've asked for Daniel. I said to Daniel, if we could, I'd be more than happy to start the Bible studies up again if you could get Janice and Davion into it, because I want them to understand and whatnot. But I've asked them, and I'm not going to have Daniel do it. I mean, I asked them, and both of them say they don't have time. My word means nothing. My word has no weight. But if Daniel asked them, of course they would make the time, because Daniel's word actually has more weight. Or they would say, Daniel, you got this. But, Daniel wouldn't be asking if I didn't want him there in the first place. So, I just feel like I don't get the support from either of them. Honestly, I don't even remember what time. And because you made it at the building instead of here at my apartment like I wanted, I've lost track. So if we had kept it here at my apartment, I would, like I had originally worked it and planned it. I would have a time memorized, but I don't now. You wanted it at the building. I don't know why you wanted it at the building, but that's where you chose to put it. So. But I will reply to Faustia and see if we can get a response on that Monday sometime. But which means you think it's at 3? Well, I could always call her Monday morning and then send you a quick text. It would be easier just to call her and get it instead of searching through the emails. Yeah, I may not message her a lot, but I get a lot of emails on a daily basis for a lot of things. You're talking about probably 100 not spam emails, but about 100 emails a day for just legit emails for like go mining, my games, stuff like that. So that I don't know, that was what, 3 weeks ago? That's 100 emails a day for 2 or 3 weeks. That's a lot of emails to go through to find it. I mean, but yeah. And I did realize something. I was talking to Mark a couple nights ago, and I realized that I do feel more than I used to. Like I know at one point I stopped feeling, and just feeling in general, like just didn't care or anything like that. I just was cold, basically. And so I just, like a couple nights ago when I was talking to Mark, I realized afterwards, because he was just letting me, ramble like usual, and he He didn't really say much, but he never really does when I'm rambling. And I realized that I apparently started caring more than I realized myself along the line, but I don't know if I'm willing to accept that, because accepting that means that, you know, I actually let it go. No. If I say, if I accept the fact that I care more than I used to because of the situation with my ex, that means I finally let go of the situation with my ex. I don't know if I don't know if I can. I don't know if I'll ever be ready, but the fact that somewhere along the line something changed and I didn't realize it until I was just rambling with Mark is just, something has changed. I don't know what. It's something new, something that hasn't happened in 8 years, and I don't, just admitting that I actually care more than I used to. It just means that I've grown further than I realized, and I don't know if I can accept that. I don't know if I want that, because that means, that potentially means I'm ready to open my heart again for somebody, and I don't want to go. See, I'm starting to already get teared up about this. I don't know if I can go through that again. I don't know if I can go through, no matter who it is, go through the scenario where I give my heart to the relationship, put it all in, just like I always do with anything I do. Only you know, because the fun stops. She goes away, or you know, I don't have a job or a car or money, so because of that, she goes away. You know, and so I don't know if I could go through that again. I just by fully accepting the fact that I care more than I used to from 8 years ago means that I'm ready for that, and I don't know if I can accept that, because I don't know if I'm willing to go through that again. I mean, it's a big reason why I can't talk to a girl. I mean, it's a big reason why I can't. It's why they would need to talk to me before I talk to them. But just the fact that, you know, something has changed compared to the last 8 years ago says otherwise. I just don't know if I can accept it yet. Because by admitting that's happened, it opens up a whole nother chapter of my life, and I don't, and potentially in a lot of good ways, but also, I guess in a way, it's perpetual fear of, you know, I open my heart again to somebody, and they let me down again because of material items, or it stops being fun. If I admit that, everything changes. And that's the problem. I think I was talking to Mark like Tuesday night on that. And he was just listening and commenting. I was just rambling, so you know. I kind of just figured it out by myself just by rambling, because that's kind of how I work through my problems. I just don't know if I'm ready to open up again like that. The problem is, this girl that did an old playbook move because of a message I sent to several people involving my staff, shows that the girl likes me, but enough to try to do an old playbook move. Because most women would not do that unless they really like the guy. Where they go out of their way to have one of their friends talk really quietly, and then say really loudly, while both her and her friend is near the person, and say, "I got a date on such and such day." It's a classic girl move to make a guy jealous or make a statement. And mostly to make the guy jealous. It's classic old book, textbook, playbook style. I am pretty sure because it was. Because all the signs point to it pretty much. Well, both her and her friend stayed there until after me and Daniel left. Both her and her friend literally stayed closer to where I was standing whenever we were shutting down. Both her and her friend basically was very, very quiet about everything else and spoke loudly on that one thing on purpose. That was a purpose dictated move. That was I think it was because the move, I don't think the move would have happened if I had not sent the message about my staff. Because I was the only one in that room that particular person likes at the time. So, I mean, it was me and a bunch of adults. So, in the doorway. Well, I wasn't even in the doorway. I was standing behind the tech thing, trying to shut out the lights. But I was the only younger person in the building left at that point, except for Caitlin, which was in the hallway next to the door. There was no other guy that was younger than me. Well, except for Reese, but you know, she and him, I don't think are anything, because he doesn't seem to actually like her in that way, just as a friend. But hey, it is what it is. I think they would do good together. Just saying. But I think she likes me more. So, just by the signs and the fact that she was willing to play an old female playbook move out of the playbook move to make a guy jealous is more sign than enough to know. But honestly, it wasn't. She could. Hold on.
This is a reminder. Atlas Earth.
Honestly, it wasn't a good move, because if she had known about my past, she would have known that would not have been a smart move. I probably never would have been put in fight or flight mode if it wasn't for that move. I've known for a while she's liked me, but that's just more evidence that she does. But it's still, I probably screwed things up to even talk at this point because of my fight or flight mode. No, it's my fault. I mean, you would probably think that she screwed it up, yeah, but it's my fault. If I had actually went and talked to her, she would have known that would not be a smart move in the first place, and then she would have never done it. And it's also my fault that, you know, I did a fight or flight move, so, you know. This one's on me. I'm the one that screwed it up. And she will probably really never know how that upsets me. Because I really think we could have been good friends if I had not done a fight or flight mode. At 4? Okay. Oh, there is news. The business stuff is on hold, as well as getting into the cooking industry is on hold. I don't know. Yesterday, me and Jim were supposed to have a meeting at the plaza with somebody. But he was unavailable for some reason, said something serious, or something had happened. Well, he didn't say, Ebony had said something had happened that he's going to be off all this week and then possibly all next week. And I'm like, well, we have a meeting today, because I was talking to her about it yesterday. It's like, we have a meeting today for my computer business stuff. And then we have another meeting with Voc Rehab on Monday involving the cooking job. It's like, well, it's 2 meetings back to back that was super, super important. It's like, she was like, there's nothing we could do. I mean, he had to take off. It's like, yeah, but we're going to have to reschedule, and there's no guarantee it's going to be a quick reschedule. That's the problem. I mean, at this point, no. I mean, these 2 meetings were going to require Jim, because the Voc Rehab was literally going to be a meeting to see if we could not have to deal with Voc Rehab and they could just do it with their service. I mean, we still had to fill out the paperwork just to get the meeting in the first place, but the whole idea is to get Jim to convince them that I don't need their service. That Jim's service, the Avant service that Avant provides, would be better. But we couldn't get that meeting until the paperwork was filed, so you know. This is what I'm talking about. Like, I get my hopes up because things are going good in my life. Things are going well, and I get my hopes up that finally something is going to change and get slapped back down again. Well, I'm not saying it's derailed or over. I'm just saying, like, it seems like every time I make a step forward, something makes it go a step back. Yeah, but if we go in a biblical sense, it could be God's way of saying, you know, now's not the right time for this stuff. Which means more stagnation, which I don't want to hear.
This is a reminder. Service go mining. This is a reminder. Service go mining.
Well, I don't want any job. I have a very particular place I want to work at as a first and foremost place to try, and that's the Heidelberg. It's a good centralized location. If I get a chance to do one of my recipes for a day, and that's all I focus on, and like cook, that's the thing I cook all day while I'm there at the work that day. That's like how many people who ever buy the new thing on the menu that's a special for that day. You know, that's how many people trying my thing, both campus and people from all over the country or even out of the country. I mean, come on, what better pull for a food test is there for that? That's a good centralized location that business people and college campus go alike. Right. I know, but with it being in the beginning of the year, it's more possible and more able, probably. Right. Well, I am not going to do a fast food, though. I refuse to do fast food. Fast food is not what I want to do. If I go into the cooking industry, fast food, I want to avoid at all costs. That's the thing, I don't know, but that's, if God is actually telling me that that's not, like the Voc Rehab and the computer business is not the way I need to go, I don't know what it could be at this point. Right. Right, because I mean, technically, he could be closing those two doors to open, say, the fact that I've came such a long way and my heart is the way it is now compared to what it was 8 years ago. Could be taking those two away just to make a point, well, there's something bigger in the works coming, you know. Right, I'm not saying it's derailed or not. It just seems like everything I try to do, it just gets delayed, or it gets stopped, or things go really well with it, and then all of a sudden it just starts getting delayed or stopped. It's just like one thing after another once it starts. But yeah, other than feeling like a total jack monkey because of my flight or fight mode, I'm doing kind of sort of okay. And then I will keep you informed about next Saturday for me, Daniel, you, Hank, and whoever else I talk to at church Sunday. And yes, if this was 2+ years ago, like just before I moved to Columbia, I probably would have stopped going to church because of it. I probably would have canceled all communication from every church member or everything like that. So the fact that I'm still going to the church building and I'm not making any changes right now anyways does show more progress than I care to admit. Yeah, it still doesn't help my fight or flight mode. My problem is that it's I don't realize the fight or flight mode happening when it happens. It's just an automatic trigger response because of what happened with me and my ex. It just happens automatically. There's and I don't realize it until after it's over. That's the problem here. I have to say though, that's probably the first fight or flight response I have had in I don't know, 2-3 years. So things are slowly getting better, and as Daniel says, slow progression is still progression. And it's definitely not only because it's not beneficial to me or other people, but there's a possibility that if this girl does like me enough to do that, I screwed it up big time by going into fight or flight mode. I'm not saying that. Everything happens for a reason, but it's still the simple fact of she let it be known, and I went into fight or flight mode instead of actually caring. And it's not her fault. It's mine. Alright, Carl, well, I'll keep you informed for next Saturday. Right. Yep, see you in the morning. You too. Bye. And now I'm not in the mood to play.